my Blake Lively Astromap analysis. I am excited to share with you what I found about this lady. Um, I didn't know anything about her before, and now I feel like I know too much. But anyway, let's go ahead and see what we've got going on for Blake Lively. So I chose a few places such as her birthplace, the location of filming of the breakout role, the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. That was the breakout role for her, and came out in 2005. It was filmed in Santorini, Greece, and so I wanted to get the location of that filming, the location of the wedding in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, a controversial place. Um, I'm going to look at her current home with her husband and kids in Pound Ridge, New York. And I'm going to look at the location where the filming took place for the most recent film, I believe. It's the one with the big controversy, the big litigation, and it's called It Ends With Us. So, her early life includes um, uh, being a part of a Hollywood family. She was born into that. Her mother and father worked in Hollywood, and her father helped a lot in getting her foot in the door. And she has several siblings, three half siblings, and also an older brother. And according to what I've read, all of the siblings and the parents are involved in the entertainment industry. Okay, so her personality, we're going to look at her natal chart first of all. We see right off the bat, we're seeing that she's rising Leo. That explains the enormous amount of hair that she has. She's known for that lush hair. She has the stellium in the first house of Virgo. All of her personal planets there, sun, moon, everything. Um, this is pretty interesting. Then she has this grand trine. We have we're going to stay with the Earth, Taurus, and the midheaven, and Capricorn, Neptune working together to build her dreams, make her dreams come true, materialize. She has a kite as well with that Pluto opposing the midheaven, but uh, the focus is on the midheaven and turning things solid to materializing things. We have Jupiter quite close to the midheaven here. Um, yeah, it looks already on the bat that she is endowed with a very powerful chart for manifesting her dreams and so forth. So the sun is conjunct Mars and Venus and Mercury. The Sun and Mars are about 3 minutes apart, very strong Mars. Um, we have that gives her quite a bit of energy, power, energetic impulsivity, um, a love and adventure and risk taking. Venus there, you have a love, she has a love of art and beauty. She enjoys the company of others. She's very sociable. She's a loving and charming personality. She's attractive to other people, to most people. Um, she has Mercury close to the sun as well, giving her the ability to communicate well, effectively, and perhaps even be speak more of herself than others is possible. The moon here, the moon is actually squaring um, Saturn, and that shows that she has learned a lot of lessons in life early on the hard way. There's a lot of information about her life ever since her career began, and we don't know what kind of situation with her siblings there was or her parents, but perhaps in this third house, that Pluto there could have been a lot of upheaval, power struggles and things like that with the siblings, with the parents, whatever, also seems to inform the fact that her parents did influence her choice of career, pointing right to the midheaven. Her parents, she apparently was not necessarily going to be an actress. She wanted to. She's an academically minded person, as Virgo as she is, um, and she was actually even drawn to politics. She was class president, um, and we also see the fact of nepotism taking place with this powerful effect that her parents had um, on her life and early on. Um, so there was that. Let's see. Again, Jupiter is a nice, comfortable place there in the ninth house with its midheaven uh, there as well. Let's see what else we have here. So her colleagues say that she's either a good actress, a bad actress. Some say this. A lot of people put her as self-centered, assertive, and a nepo baby. She's been called. She's been called out of touch, and she's shown that to be quite insensitive to other people. She's aggressive, and she likes to. She's been called a crown straightener, and she thinks that that's a compliment. She has been accused of being racist for several reasons we might be able to talk about here. So, even though I didn't know anything much about her in the beginning, anything at all, really zero, the more I know about her, she's not the most um, uh, mature. She's not the most emotionally intelligent person, but she's quite interesting for sure. Very interesting to see the astrology playing out in this person. So her birthplace was had one major line, this ACG line of the Pluto IC line, and we just talked about that a little bit. She did spend her childhood around film sets, auditions, uh, powerful people in the acting world, in the entertainment industry. She was had a she was class president in student government. She was in choir practice. She joined the choir, but she didn't get it on merit. She bragged about her father paying for her to get into that. Like he just paid off the director to get her into choir. Um, she had a start in film at the age of 11 at a movie called The Sandman that was directed by her father. So that was her first little break into the industry. Um, but her true breakthrough came in 2005 when she was cast in the popular teen film of The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, and her performance received positive reviews and marked her entry into Hollywood. Then later in 2007, she became extremely popular worldwide with her role in Gossip Girl, and that made her an international star, a huge cultural icon, a fashion icon, and earned her millions of fans worldwide. She went on to expand into entrepreneurship. She had fashion brands, home design projects, and beauty companies. She launched her lifestyle brand Preserve in 2014, which drew a lot of criticism for um, its aesthetics being based on pre-Civil War era, and so she does have quite an attraction and a fondness for this pre-Civil War era, the antebellum era, and she promotes it in all sorts of ways. Her house is from that period, 1860 built, and the wedding, of course, has something to do with that plantation vibe as well. So she's even told a story about as a teenager dressing up as a black lady to try to stalk somebody, a boy. So she has a lot of weird and unusual ways of that creative uh, in that fifth house Uranus of ways of expressing her style, and she doesn't seem to have to understand the insensitivity of it. Uh, and she seems to be totally oblivious to that. But anyway, she does say that, well, first of all, I wanted to add that she did get married to Ryan Reynolds in September 9th, 2012, and the couple themselves are a force in Hollywood. They are known for their humor and playful public interactions, their strong partnership, and their focus on family and privacy. And they do have 4 children that they try to keep out of the limelight. Blake says she enjoys cooking and baking, designing interiors, fashion styling, and spending time with her family. Um, yeah, and they got together in. She has also an interesting past romantically. I found out, but we won't talk about that today. So this is the map for the time that she began filming on the Sisterhood of Traveling Pants, that breakout role in Santorini, Greece, which occurred right about here. And the map is showing transits, and so this sun here was here while she was there, beginning her career for real, in the most serious way, with this breakout role, which of course they didn't know it was going to be a breakout role, but the film was very popular. The story was so popular that it put Blake Lively on the map as well. So the transits were going on here. Then we see Perans here. We have the Moon and Neptune here, which are good for this career, this acting career, uh, being lit up right here in this place and time. Now the inset wheel is showing progressions. So we're going to see that her progressed sun is conjunct the natal moon. Again, this was at the beginning of this film, the filming being created, and the moon here also. The moon is at the midheaven, conjunct the natal uh, Jupiter as well. So we can see a lot of potential for success just in this one location and time. So then we're going to move on to the wedding. So the wedding was in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, well known to be on a plantation that had been used in the slave days, and is actually still a tourist attraction for people who want to see what the plantation life was like for slaves. Well, they were married in 2012, but because of the protests in 2020, they came out and apologized about this. I don't know if it happened before then or not, but this was they publicly apologized in 2020, regretting the use of that hall, and acknowledging that it was a bad idea, an effing mistake, and they did learn the lesson here. They say they've learned the lesson, but apparently they are just drawn to that aesthetic, that time period. That there's something about the style of that time, I guess, that they're drawn to. If you don't want to say that they're racist, but so they did also, I think, contribute to the NAACP after about this situation here too. Now here is the map for that wedding. This is her birth. This is her ACG map here, and we have Saturn IC line running about 100 miles away from that place in South Carolina. Um, Another thing to note about this relocation here is that on this East Coast, where she's has a lot of controversial things, troubles, um, things going on that are a little bit out of her control. Um, we have Uranus too, line right through here, which we'll look at that a little bit more closely later. But this also is the beginning. Her big beautiful stellium in the first house shifts to the 12th house, and in my opinion, that's not helpful to her in this area. So these are the progressed lines, and this is for her wedding day, September 2012. And the the wedding day progress lines look like this. Mars is running right there on that wedding location. Especially a bad place for a person who is self-assertive and aggressive as she is, and self-centered as she is, and fiery as she is, being that Leo rising. Um, so it happened to be a bad place for her to have a wedding in most people's opinion. Um, and then, but beyond this Mars line, we can also see that at the same time, her actual relocated home was under a sun, a progressed sun, making her feel happy and positive there. Uh, but it's also a place to watch out for self-centeredness, watch out for selfishness. And then, interestingly, very interestingly, at the same time, the moon is progressed to be over her birthplace, and I felt like that the moon directly over her LA birth home has a positive side of encouraging the caring, intuitive, and loving side of herself. This was her wedding day, after all. I'm sure she was feeling quite lovey dovey, and this also made her more attractive and sensitive to the environment, sensitive to sights and sounds, and enjoying nature and just being alive. Um, the personal Her personal life was definitely being rewarded by that moon in her birthplace there. So here is her relocated home in New York. And here is again that Uranus line. As we can see, it's out here in the ocean in South Carolina, but it comes right up here very close to her home in New York. She has a couple homes in New York. She has a house built in the 1860s, just like pre-slave day houses, and she has a uh, condo in Manhattan, both of which are eclectic in style, which indicates that an unusual type of a home with Uranus. Uranus is not the best place, the I see place to put a home, because it can give a lot of um, obviously a lot of trouble for wanting to move, some discordance, some awakening, some um, uh, it can be quite problematic for most people. Along this line too, you'll see this is the local space line. These are coming out from her place in California, her birthplace in California, and the sun does cross here. Well, we have lots of destiny points here with that Uranus crossing over uh, these local space lines, but her home does happen to be on the sun local space line, and that is a great place to put her home, making her feel happy, making her feel uh, shining there and in control. Um, let's see. We also, again, we see that her relocation here in New York puts her stellium, that beautiful stellium that was in the first house, right into the 12th. And we will see later that there's a lot more trouble to come for her in this area, in my opinion. So here we have another picture of this area. This is the film location for New Jersey. The reason I pointed this little area here, her home is here on this brown line, which is the Sun else local space, as well as a Sun and Saturn parent right here, right where she lives. And then right below where she lives, right on the line, is the Neptune and Moon line. Again, another Neptune Moon line. Again with the film. The film it ends with us was filmed in this area right here, just a little short distance from her home. But what a difference it's gonna make here. Um, let's see. The Neptune DC Moon IC This energy could be positive to pursue creative goals, or it could also result in her living in a fantasy world and having difficulty dealing with reality. The film was somewhat of a hit, but it led to a lot of trouble for Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and the director and co star Justin Baldoni. Litigation between the couple and Justin Baldoni are still ongoing. The controversy is quite interesting. It appears that Blake and Ryan are looking like the bad guys in this situation. So, what else can we know about this place? Well, look, if we put her relocation lines, we relocate her local space lines to her current home, then we see right there in New Jersey, that upper corner of New Jersey is crossed right underneath the Pluto line, which is another indication of the power struggle, the upheavals, and a lot of power struggle was going on right there. She was inserting herself into the production role. She was trying to take over the whole production at all. If you look into the situation, she she really she she was doing the work behind the scenes, of course, and she was taking control um, where she really probably didn't have a right to, and she kind of bullied Baldoni into a lot of things. But and then as far as like the Neptune and Moon and the fantasy thing, it's been pointed out that and suggested that she with all of her co-stars, she falls in love with them on the set, and she has affairs with them. And she was trying to, I think she was falling in love with Justin Baldoni, and because he wasn't reciprocating it, she kind of went out to destroy him. And so that was just an very interesting thing about this situation. So dramatic. So there are rumors with that Uranus line near her home. Her relationship with her husband, and they've been together a long time and have 4 children, but the relationship is showing a lot of wear and tear, and there's a lot of rumor and suggestion that they may be splitting up sometime. Now, if they wanted to try to move away and find a better place, or if she does split up with him and wants to start fresh somewhere, she might want to consider. I think that she should consider moving somewhere to get that stellium out of the 12th house. It just is not working for her. And one way to do that is to return to the um, West Coast if she would like to stay in North America. However, if she would like to explore another European area, I'm sure that Europe is going to be her vibe since she is so Eurocentric uh, in her fashion ideas and her and so forth. That she's very comfortable with her whiteness. I think she would probably want to go to Europe, so France or Spain, and let's see why that would be. So in Spain, if she were to travel, move to Spain, her stellium would move to the 10th house, and her career could get a much needed jump start. She's right now in a low place in her career because of her reputation, because of so much going on with her litigation. She may even have trouble getting into the industry again, but moving here would probably help her quite a bit to get right back in, to be right on top again. Let's see what happens if she moves to France. If she were in France, she would have that same stellium near that midheaven line, but split into the 9th and 10th house, giving kind of a more even spread, a little dampening of the energies, a little spreading out of the energies over more than one area of life. So just an experimental thing, in my opinion. Then we have here, I do think that she does. I found out recently that she has a home in Wales. So she may already know what that feels like. But so anyway, I wish her luck and hope that she can uh, come back strong and better than ever. There we go. Yeah. So my references, Wikipedia, Law and Crime Network. This was really interesting. This is a very serious commentator about talking about the case, the litigation going on. And then this was very interesting, unsealed text timeline. You'll see if you wanted to explore tons and tons and tons of conversation between Ryan, Reynolds, Justin, and Blake all together, and more people, and Taylor Swift too. Very interesting. Loads and loads and loads of material. And then Kirsty Flaw was the uh, well-known journalist who was pretty much humiliated by Blake Lively in an interview. Her rudeness really showed up, and it kind of made Kirsty Flaw a more it kind of made her go viral herself just because of the rudeness that Blake showed to her at that interview. But this is one of her uh, discussions about the case, is what this link is for. So I hope you've enjoyed my presentation and perhaps learned something interesting about Blake Lively's Astromap that you perhaps hadn't seen before. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you later. Bye.